Good evening, and welcome to this semester's first episode of Panther Report. I'm Logan Carter, and I'm joined by Kevin McMahon and Amir Tyree on today's show. It's been a while, but we're ready to get back into things. Kicking off with High Point Sports, the High Point University men's track and field team wrapped up competition at the High Point University Team Challenge last Thursday at the JDL Fast Track in Winston-Salem. The Panthers posted 10 top 5 finishes, including 3 second-place showings at the competition. Junior James House, who was named High Point Athlete of the Week recently, posted 2 top 6 finishes at the team challenge, with House finishing second in the 60-meter dash with a time of 7.04 and then posting a 6th-place finish in the 200-meter dash with a time of 22.73. Guys, after a lot of successfulness in the recent competitions, what can we expect from the men's track and field team as they head up to Virginia?
Well, I think definitely just to get off, they're definitely getting off to a good start. And you see, especially from a guy like James House, who's coming back. He's actually coming back from a broken foot. He's coming back. We've gone deep in the NCAA finals for 100-meter. Their indoor season's really short, so they're just getting around and getting in gear for the outdoor season. So
it's just kind of like the warm-up for the spring, right? Yeah, like James House, of course, is always spectacular. A couple of those guys are all going after it. So it seems like Indrek's been on winning ways the last couple of seasons, so they look like they're going to keep continuing their winning ways.
Sticking with track and field, the women's team earned 4 wins at the High Point University Team Challenge. Freshman Kenyanzi Brown picked up a win in the 60-meter dash with a career best time of 7.67 seconds and also finished in second in the 200-meter with a time of 25.77. Guys, several freshmen placed in the top 10 of many different events last Thursday at that event. What can we expect from them going into future competitions this season?
I think the future's bright for the women's track team, and if you're a women's track fan, you got to be excited about that. And if that is the first event of the season, that's winter track, and you're going to have spring coming up, so you got to be really excited, and they're just going to get better from there. Yeah,
especially seeing the young freshman legs get out there, especially the women's team has been just outstanding as far as a lot of field events as well as the throwers and pole vaulters. They've seen a lot of success, so it's good to see some sprint success early on.
Alrighty, well, High Point continues the indoor season this Friday when the team heads to Blacksburg, Virginia to compete in the Virginia Tech competition. Moving on to another High Point sport. Men's lacrosse kicked off their season last Friday night, losing to the Duke Blue Devils 10-5, but the team bounced back this past Tuesday at their home opener against Georgetown, winning 9-3, after the Panthers went on a 7-0 second-half run. Senior Dallas Brittle tied his career high with 3 points, while 3 other Panthers tallied 2 points on the day. Guys, how can the Panthers continue their hot play into Saturday's road game as they take on the Maryland Terrapins?
They just have to build on momentum. High Point Lacrosse has been a power in the Big South for the past couple of years. They've been knocking off a lot of big ranked teams. They played a tough one in Duke, who we always get here at home. We always want to knock off a multiple national champion. But as long they're keeping their head on their shoulders, and they're gonna keep playing through. A lot of big names coming through, and they're starting early on that it's time to start getting a streak together, I'd say.
Well, yeah, High Point always preseason voted they're going to be the top of the SoCon. They are always. And Duke, that was a close game, really close game, but they had Georgetown, and they beat them handedly. They looked really good. Like you said, Chris Young was great. LeClaire was great. Ashwood was spectacular. Tim Troutner Jr., the goalie. Unbelievable. Only a sophomore. The future is very bright for lacrosse. Maryland, number 3 in the country. But you got to feel good because Tim Troutner is going to keep you in the game. You got guys like LeClaire and T. Moyer, a name you're going to be hearing a lot more of, a midfielder who's been playing great lacrosse. Played great against Duke, played great against Georgetown. So expect big things. It's not going to be a Maryland blowout on Saturday. I got news for you. The Panthers are coming.
Well, let's hope goalie Tim Troutner continues his excellent defense this Saturday at 1 p.m. against Maryland. From turf to court, let's talk about High Point basketball. The women's basketball team used an 18-0 second quarter run to earn them a 78-69 victory over Liberty in the Miller Center this past Tuesday night. Senior Kayla Keys registered 26 points, while sophomore Emma Bachrath posted 25 points to lead the Panthers to a huge Big South win over the Flames. Their victory over Liberty marked their 6th straight win, pushing their conference record to 9-4. With 4 more conference games on the schedule, what can we predict about the Lady Panthers against Campbell this Friday night and then going to Charleston Southern next Tuesday night?
What can we predict? 7. We can predict 7. I'm going to get a little fired up. Emma Bachrath, 25 points, 6 steals, doing it on both sides of the ball. Here's the thing about the women's basketball team. 6 wins in a row. They're playing unbelievable. They play team basketball, they share the ball, and they play for each other. And they believe in each other. That's the biggest thing. They have fun. They're full of life. And if you're looking for a basketball team support, they're unbelievable. They're always having fun. Before the game, they're playing that song. Dun, 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 dun. And Coach Hendricks is back there, and she's leading. They're doing like a whole dance before. They're getting fired up. They're having a great time, and you can tell when you're watching. And they're going into a mode right now. They'll get something will happen in the game. Maybe it's not going their way. And they're just going to go, we're not going to lose. And they all believe in each other, and they win the game. Quick preview. Their last loss, they won 6 games. Their last loss came against Campbell. Campbell's the #1 defense in the country, scoring defense in the country. They keep opponents to under 40 all year long. They haven't let anybody score more than 40 points. Guess what? In the last 6 games for High Point, they've scored at least 70 points. You're not holding the Panthers to 40 this week. I got news for you. The Panthers are coming. Emma Bachrath's fired up. Kayla Keys, Kat Harris, Shea Morgan. You can name a few. You can go all the way down the line. They are ready. Coach Hendricks got them fired up, baby.
Yeah, definitely
7,
for sure.
Here they go.
I have to go with them winning the next 2. Definitely, they're obviously getting on a roll. They had a rough start. We talked about last semester. They played a lot of. They weren't playing really mid-major schools. They were playing the big schools. They were traveling all over. They were traveling.
Oh yeah, they're
Ohio.
playing big names.
They're going.
Yeah,
they're going down south to
West Virginia.
Ole Miss. Yeah, they're all over. So they got a little bit behind, but as they start and really start to get into this, the tournament's right around the corner, and they're starting to rise up. I definitely think they can get these next 2, and then obviously you have your leadership, Kayla Keys, who's always been one of the best players in the conference. Maybe one of the best women's players to come through the school, as we know. And we know she's
rewriting the history books right now. Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely. As far as just everything she's been doing it since freshman year. And I think just that veteran leadership, and you start moving forward.
Being a great leader. Down in the press conference after the game, you could just see how excited she was and how much, I keep saying the word believe, but they really believe in each other. And one quick thing about we have to keep moving, but the one thing about the schedule you brought up, that shows this team's heart to have to battle through all that. 6 games in a row, and they're getting 7 this Saturday.
Well, let's hope they can go on a significant run against that Campbell defense. Moving on with basketball. The High Point University basketball team dropped a close one late on the road at Liberty, 55-52 this past Tuesday night in Lynchburg, Virginia. Redshirt senior Miles Bowman Jr. and sophomores Andre Fox and Ricky Madison combined to score 42 of the Panthers' 52 points in the game. High Point dropped just its 2nd road game in conference play with the loss to Liberty, changing their conference record to 8-7. What do you guys think? I mean, they got, 3 games remaining. What do you think they could do even into the conference tournament as well?
Well, they're going to have to win the conference tournament.
To make it to the bracket.
The Big South, you don't get a bid. So these next 3 must win. They've won 6 in a row this year. They've beaten great teams like Winthrop in overtime. They beat Charleston Southern in overtime. They beat Radford on the road. They can do it. They can totally go into this tournament and win. I 100% believe that. These next 3, you just need to get tuned up. Win these 3, get hot, just like you did in the middle of the season. They went into a really powerful Winthrop Coliseum and beat the Eagles. They can do anything after they've done that.
But definitely. And when we look, I definitely think they can win out for the rest of it for sure. But definitely just have to look. You look at Miles Bowman, he's not a true center, but he's the biggest guy we've got. He's shooting about 90% from the clip from the 3-point line. I think a big key is just getting started and scoring early. And you especially look at the top teams in our conference. You have UNC Asheville and Liberty. We played them both at home. They lost to Asheville by 3 just a couple weeks ago, family weekend, and then lost to Liberty by 4 at home. So it's not like they can't play with the top teams in the conference. They can definitely beat them. It's just a matter of getting our hands hot and just getting on a roll.
A lot of close games. So, yeah, they're just going to have to battle, but if anybody can get them going at Scott Cherry, and you got to believe in these High Point Panthers. They've shown they can do it.
You got to take Bowman Jr.'s injury into consideration, too. They went on that 6-game win streak, and then I think he got injured right there at it, and then they started losing just a few.
He's all right now. He's healthy. He's ready to go.
All righty. Well, now we have some updates on EA Sports from our specialist, David Wintrod. Over to you, Dave.
Well, thank you so much. In the world of League of Legends, we have to talk Neymar da Silva Santos is interested in purchasing a LoL team. This isn't necessarily a surprise, as we've known that Neymar has had an interest in the game since January. He welcomed a league player, Piki, to bring a fellow Gillette brand ambassador on Twitter. Most top-tier teams have sponsors, however, so it will be interesting to see what he decides to go with, if any. In Overwatch, Team NRG signed IDDQD to their team. He describes this as being a no-brainer and an instant decision. He was invited to the team by Seagull, a legendary player in his own right. I took the opportunity as fast as I could, he said, and it's been working out. IDDQD is a DPS player known, of course, for his McCree. This now makes the NRG roster, which has been going through some tough times lately, only one man short of a full team. They now have Seagull, Dummy, Numlocked, and the man, IDDQD. No matter who they add, though, the team is already a formidable force, and I wish them the best of luck in California. And CSGO, the only thing anyone is talking about is DreamHack Las Vegas. This will be the first major tournament of 2017, and everyone is looking forward to it. There have been master roster changes and the removal of the map Dust 2 from competitive mode since the last tournament. But unfortunately, everyone is going to have to wait for a little while longer to see what happens. The tournament isn't here just yet. And lastly, the question of the week. Who here has heard of For Honor? It's a massive multiplayer game launched by Ubisoft just 3 days ago. It revolves around the idea of samurai, Vikings, and knights all fighting each other, which I will admit is really cool, but the question is, does it have esports potential? Are the mechanics and controls significantly skill-based enough to encourage professional players? Several esports players have asked the question, and a few even say that a competitive scene is imminent. The jury is ultimately still out on this one, however, and so we'll just have to wait and see. And that's all I have this week for you guys for esports, so thank you so much on listening to our esports spot with David Wintrode, and I hope you guys stay perfectly oblivious so that I can catch you up on everything next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
Impressive. Alrighty, we'll switch into pro basketball. A strange scene transpired at Madison Square Garden last Wednesday night during the Clippers-Knicks game. Charles Oakley, 53, shoved a security guard and was escorted out of the arena. The team's PR department released the following statement on Twitter. Charles Oakley came to the game tonight and behaved in a highly inappropriate and a completely abusive manner. He has been ejected and is currently being arrested by the New York City Police Department. He was a great Knick, and we hope he gets some help soon. Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, and Oakley met this past week after being banned from MSG and resolved the issue with Commissioner Adam Silver and Michael Jordan as mediators. What in the world do you guys think about this entire situation in relation to the team and owner's power as well?
Before Kevin gets started,
yeah, we'll get to you, Kevin.
Kevin's going to have a lot to say on this. But I think it says a lot when you look at all the players that come out, and obviously Oakley's the kind of guy, he's going to bring his lunch pail to the arena every day as a player, and he does everything the coach and organization could ask. And when you just look at Dolan and the ownership and just the response to that, it's just not the way you want to see an organization treat a former player. And he's just one of the greats that a lot of guys would say just an example of what an NBA basketball player is supposed to be. So I don't think they really handled this situation well. And when you look at it, there's a lot of controversy because Dolan brings up an alcohol problem, which may or may not be, which may or may not be real.
Oakley needs help.
Yeah, Oakland needs help. I'm really not buying into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, it just shows the league coming together and that this is not a thing that needs to happen. It needs to be addressed.
Yeah, before Kevin gets into it, a lot of players have reached out onto social media saying they know Charles Oakley as a person and they wouldn't think anything of it like that, being like an alcohol issue or anything like that, like Chris Paul. Kevin McMahon.
Thank you. Well, there's two sides to every story, so I'm not going to get into that who was right, who was wrong. Oakley thinks he was right, Dolan thinks he was right, and then Oakley was wrong. So each guy thinks they're right and the other guy's wrong. I'm not going to get into that. Here's what I'm going to get into. There's a way to treat your players. He played for the Knicks for 10 years, Charles Oakley. He deserves to have his jersey hanging in the rafters. He doesn't deserve to have his face pushed against the Madison Square Garden floor, okay? Yes, things got out of control, but I think that might be because that's the way you handle it. You surround them with 15 guys, that's going to be a problem. We don't need to go into that. I want to get into really quickly. Dolan is mishandling the New York Knicks. This is a perfect example. This is vintage New York Knicks. This is a perfect example of how they're mishandling things. They mishandled this situation, and now Knicks fans, they're yelling free Oakley. They got the shirts. They're wearing, Spike Lee was wearing the jersey on the court. They're using this situation for everything. We're yelling free Oakley, not for Oakley, and now we're yelling it because you need to trade Carmelo so we can build around Kristaps. You need to get rid of Phil Jackson because everyone can tell that's not working, but only you go, well, we need to see. 4 years, what more do you need to see? a former Nick, Phil Jackson, you have so much loyalty to him. How about a former Nick Oakley, and you're showing zero loyalty to him? Protect your guys. Protect the business, would you? And you're not going to. I'm so sick to my stomach. We're still paying for those draft picks for Marbury. I think we're still using draft picks for Marbury. I love Latrell Sprewell, but that was a disaster. Still one of my favorite players of all time. There's been so many. Isaiah Thomas. I mean, do I need to go into that? There's been so many problems in Dolan. You're the problem. Free Oakley.
All righty, well, let's hope the Knicks can get back into playing basketball instead of all the drama.
Yeah, they're playing basketball, by the way. They beat the Stars. Go Knicks.
Closing with pro basketball, the NBA All-Star Weekend begins tomorrow night in New Orleans, Louisiana. The Compass Rising Star Challenge begins Friday at 9, continuing to Saturday, the Skills Challenge, 3-point, and dunk contest, all being at 8 p.m. The weekend is closing on Sunday night at 8 p.m. with the All-Star Game. What are you guys excited to see in all of these skills competitions and even the live game?
I'd be even more excited if we got the game in Charlotte. I'm a Charlotte guy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You got to give the shout out to that.
All three of us would be there.
Yeah, I was excited to make it out there, but definitely the All-Star Game's definitely going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how they have in the Skills Challenge. They have the bigs versus the guards.
They got Porzingis in there, right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
Yeah, he's in there.
We got the big guys because obviously we've seen Karl Anthony Towns, and we show that
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, big players just getting more versatile. They want to see them pass and dribble along with the guards and just see. I think that's going to be interesting. And Slam Dunk has some interesting names in it this year.
Derrick Jones Jr.
Can fly.
That's a name you're going to want to write down. Oh, but before I get into that really quick, there's a celebrity game too, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the MVP right now. It's going to be Peter Rosenberg. Peter Rosenberg is going to be the MVP of the Celebrity All-Star Game. But anyway, Derrick Jones Jr. played for UNLV. There's videos of him dunking over 4 people. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
How many dunks does he have? As of 2 weeks ago, he had 0 career dunks. That could be different. I haven't looked at it again. He had 0 career dunks. He's in the dunk contest. Why? His hoop mixtape is fire, my friend. That guy is an incredible dunker. He's going to be great. They got DeAndre Jordan. What's the other guy's name? Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's in there. He did the hoverboard dunk. It's going to be great. 3-point contest. You can't pick against Clay. Can you pick against Clay? You can't pick against Clay Thompson. The Splash Brother. You can't pick against him.
I don't know. I'm Kyle Korver is my sleeper pick in that.
Okay.
He had a great game last night. Great game.
All right. You can't pick against Clay Thompson. And that Rising Star Challenge, Frank Kaminsky, Embiid, Porzingis, that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun too. So NBA has figured out how to do this Saturday night. That's more fun to watch than Sunday night. Who's your MVP pick for the All-Star Game? Logan, who you got? And then we'll go to Amir.
I'm going to have to go with Anthony Davis. He came out with that statement today saying he wants to win it, so I think he's going to show out.
I could really see, just depending on how the time is split up, my guy James Harden's going to be in chill mode for All-Star Weekend, so he's not going to be stirring the pot too much. But I could see how Russell Westbrook, for sure, I think he gets the snub and he's not a starter. I think he takes his minutes and he just attacks as he always plays. And I think he's going to go for big numbers in the game. So Westbrook is my pick.
I'm going to pick Carmelo Anthony to have 80 points, and then the Knicks are going to promptly trade him away right there. They're going to say, wow, that
just
was
because
impressive.
of the All-Star Game.
We're going to trade him away, and the Knicks are going to win the NBA Finals. It's going to be awesome.
All righty. Well, the Slam Dunk Contest should be very interesting with the new names. Well, thank you for joining us on HPU Sports Talk. Have a great night.